Now the watchman was standing on the tower in Jezreel, and he saw the company of Jehu as he came and said, "I see a company." Joram said, "Take a horseman and send to meet them, and let him say, 'Is it peace?'" So one went on horseback to meet him and said, "The king says, 'Is it peace?'" Jehu said, "What do you have to do with peace? Falling behind me." The watchman said, "The messenger came to them, but he isn't coming back." Then he sent out a second on horseback, who came to them and said, "The king says, 'Is it peace?'" Jehu answered, "What do you have to do with peace? Falling behind me." The watchman said, "He came to them, but he isn't coming back. The driving is like the driving of Jehu the son of Nimshi, for he drives furiously." Joram said, "Get ready."
Hey!
Joram said, "Get ready." They made his chariot ready. Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot, and they went out to meet Jehu and found him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. When Joram saw Jehu, he said, "Is it peace, Jehu?" He answered, "What peace? So long as the prostitution of your mother Jezebel and her witchcraft abound." Joram turned his hands and fled, and said to Ahaziah, "This is treason, Ahaziah." Jehu drew his bow with his full strength and struck Joram between his arms, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sank down in his chariot. Then Jehu said to Bidkar, his captain, "Pick him up and throw him in a portion of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember how, when you and I rode together after Ahab his father, Yahweh pronounced this burden against him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons, says Yahweh, and I will repay you in this plot, says Yahweh. Now therefore take and cast him onto the plot of ground, according to Yahweh's word." But when Ahaziah, king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. Jehu followed after him and said, "Strike him also in the chariot." They struck him at the ascent of Gur, which is by Erbleen. He fled to Megiddo and died there. His servants carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in his tomb with his fathers in David's city. In the 11th year of Joram the son of Ahab, Ahaziah began to reign over Judah. Jehu came to Jezreel. When Jezebel heard of it, she painted her eyes, adorned her head, and looked out at the window. As Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, "Do you come in peace, you Zimri, murderer of your master?" He lifted up his face to the window and said, "Who is on my side? Who?" 2 or 3 eunuchs looked out at him. He said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. Then he trampled her underfoot. When he had come in, he ate and drank. And he said, "See now to this cursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter." They went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull, the feet, and the palms of her hands. Therefore they came back and told him. He said, "This is Yahweh's word, which he spoke by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the plot of
And the body of Jezebel will be as dung on the face of the field and apply to Jezreel, so that they won't say, this is Jezebel.